One thing that's interesting about our AI assistant Ordinal is that we're able to integrate it with GIS, and then you'll be able to ask questions about specific addresses in your town or ordinance. And you can go to those addresses and you can ask questions about those specific places. So let's look at an example here. I'm going to share my screen just a moment. Okay, so now you're looking at Ordinal here. Let's start up a new chat, and we're going to zoom into a specific address. So have one in mind. It's 1903 Powell Street. So we're just going to look for that address really quick, and this is in the town of Springdale. So let's start up a new chat, and you can see that instantly when we start this chat, it's already found our address. It's placed it in the C2 zone, and it's provided a lot of helpful information here for us. You know, it said the ward and city council, the utility providers, the election precinct, all of that stuff. And we also have a link here that says View in GIS. So I'm going to click that, and this is opening up a new tab. So I'm just going to need to share my screen here. Hold on one second. All right, so now we're on GIS. And you can see 1903 where it is. You can see it's right there. You can see the zone is C2. So that's where it's placed in GIS. And we'll go back to Ordinal here. And we'll just ask a few questions about the specific zone. So a common one that I've heard folks get is what are my setbacks? So we'll type that in. And importantly, you know, it has the context to know that we're zoomed into 1903 Powell Street. So it knows I'm asking, you know, what are my setbacks for 1903 Powell Street? And you can see it's gotten back to us here, setback requirements for a C2 zone. Again, it has placed us in the C2 zone here. So we know the front setback standard is 30 feet. We can go down here and figure out all this information. If we're wondering where it got those answers from, we can look at the citations and we can view each specific ordinance. Yeah, we can view each specific ordinance here that's pulled up. Let's go ahead and ask a follow-up question. Let's say, what can I build on my property? I started to correct my misspelling here, but I kind of want to show y'all that you can misspell things, and typically Ordinal is going to understand what you're talking about. So hopefully I'm not making a fool of myself here, but you know, we've asked the question, and now it's just thinking about this a little bit. So it'll get back to us shortly with an answer about what it's referencing all of the documents, and it's going to tell us what can be built here. So again, it did understand my misspelling there, and it says what can be built on the C2 zone property because it knows that this is a C2 zone. You have permitted uses, you know, retail activities, public uses, conditional uses. So all of this can be really helpful for a planner who is just trying to kind of quickly figure out or trying to answer someone's question when they're asking what can be built on my property. Let's try to ask a more pointed question. So let's say I want to start a business. Are there any, let's say, are there any parking restrictions for this address? You probably don't even need to say for this address, but I'm just out of habit typing it that way because that's how I would say it to another human. This just something to point out. Ordinal does really well with human speak. You know, you can speak like a human. Like I said, you can misspell things. The idea there is that we're creating this for city planners. They're receiving a lot of questions from developers and citizens. We want to make it so that they can just basically copy the question that they've been given and paste it into here, and they can get an answer back to folks quickly that way. So that's generally, this input box is designed for you to just talk like a human, and it will recognize what you're talking about generally, and it'll get back to you with a response. All right, so parking restrictions for a C2 zone property. Again, knows we're C2, so it is giving us information based on that. So we have zoning and ordinance parking ownership. Ownership of land or off-street parking should be the same as the ownership of the land where the principal use is located. I won't read through the whole answer. I have a habit of doing that. you all can see that it's provided us an answer here. You can check the reasoning. Again, this is a C2 zone property, and if we want to, we can reference all the ordinances as well here. So that's just a brief demo to show you how you can zoom into a specific property and ask questions about that property. Hopefully this has been helpful to y'all, and if you have any questions about Ordinal, just message us. So that basically wraps up the demo. This was just to show y'all kind of how you can zoom into a specific address in a town or a city, and then you can ask questions about that address. Hope this has been helpful and enlightening. We'd love to hear from y'all if you want to learn more about Ordinal, and always happy to give you a demo.